Welcome to the Million Vegan Grandmothers and Climate Healers. And we have a convergence coming up, the Vegan Convergence of the People, making big things happen. And today I have Ray Kowalczyk. Hello, Ray.
Hey, Tammy.
I'm making big things happen as I look up. This is one of my paintings on the green of the keeping our eyes on the prize. What is the prize, Ray, when we're talking about curbing our appetite for destruction?
Well, first of all, your background's making me crave hammock season, which is still a few months away in Canada, but it's making me think of a hammock looking up into the trees. Curbing our appetite for destruction. Yeah, my activism as a vegan and an environmentalist is very quickly understanding the framework of appetite when it comes to the Anthropocene in general. We use this word, the Anthropocene, to represent a geological epoch where humanity has more impact on the environment than forces of nature, like the sun. To think that humanity has more impact than the sun is something that we ought to pay attention to. And a lot of environmentalists do, general public is kind of aware of the word Anthropocene, and it's kind of got a negative connotation. But I think there is a plan for humanity in nature, and the Anthropocene can be a grim outcome, or it can be an incredible transformation to what's coming next. And at Climate Healers, this is what we're fully focused on. What does this transformation look like? Where are we going to end up, and how do we trace our path back from that? Which is, I think, a lot of activists need to really take a moment and decide where it is that we're going. It's like climbing a mountain, and if you just start walking at the mountain without any plan, you're probably not going to reach the summit. You need to look at the top and plan your route back. So what are the steps that we're going to take to conquer the big problems that are facing us? And as I'm implying, human appetite is the crux of all of our systemic crises. It's very clear to vegans that our future with a animal agriculture industry that dominates the planet, you can see it from outer space. You cannot deny this does not have an impact on our world. Yet we think that climate change is all about fossil fuels. And I'm behind the movement to end fossil fuels, but I think that we're discovering that there needs to be a much more nuanced argument. And the appetite for fossil fuels is less. And I think that our VCOP will demonstrate that it is far less than our appetite for animal flesh, than even the appetite for commerce and the export of our agriculture to the rest of the world. Trade is obviously a very big topic right now, especially in Canada. And I think there's some question about whether we should have food systems that aren't designed to feed us locally. They're designed for export and all the problems that come with it. So hopefully there's some resilience in the short-term future. In the long-term future, let's discuss what it would be like to curb not just individual appetites, but the appetites of our nations, of our industries, and what sort of systemic change we need in order to get from A to B, where B is the planet B that our conference is always alluding to.
Yeah, thank you, Ray. And you're going to, on our next convergence on April 26th and 27th, which you can find on climatehealers.org under VCOP, you're going to have a panel, and you're going to announce who will be in that panel. And can you discuss a little bit about what you'll be sharing during that time?
The theme of our conference is very exciting to me because a while back, maybe a year ago, Sailesh recommended a book to a group of us called Change, How to Make Big Things Happen by sociologist Damon Centola. And its biggest takeaway is that the tendency for everybody to think in terms of awareness. We, as activists, we want to spread awareness. And this is obviously very much a first step, that we have to get people aware of basic things like plants have protein. And you see a lot of social media that's still telling people that plants have protein. But that's not going to change behavior. That's not just knowing that plants have protein isn't going to make somebody embrace what is looks like joining a tribe, joining something that they didn't really have a craving to have a new community or to engage in a totally different lifestyle. Even if they are already awakened to certain movements like the environmental movement or a health movement that's looking to improve the longevity and well-being of the human race, especially in the standard American diet and all these different paths that we followed based on industrial myths that really haven't served humanity. So the appetite for destruction, curbing our appetite for destruction, is the goal of this panel. And I think it may be an opportunity to become a recurring theme in our VCOPs, or maybe even a podcast. Well, we talked about wanting to start a podcast, and it's as good a title as any, because it is, as I said, about appetite, and everybody's got an appetite, and we are in constant conversation with our appetite on a daily basis in our use of plastic, in our use of the things in our environment that used to be unchallenged, but now there's plenty of reason to challenge everything, and we want to challenge those things. And one of the things that we want to challenge is this concept of viral information sharing. Damon Santolo's big takeaway is that if we want behavior change, as the vegan movement does, information awareness is not enough. We need to recognize the sociological implications and strategies that build small communities like climate healers, like these groups that meet on Zoom and plan that future. We won't find the utopia on the 6 o'clock news. We'll find it in small groups, in small tight-knit communities. And like Margaret Mead said, this is the only way that change has ever happened amongst small groups of thoughtful individuals.
Well, thank you for being a trailblazer, thoughtful individual for our climate healer movement and the support that you've provided. And we're very much looking forward to hearing your presentation and being part of this VCOP Convergence coming up on April 26th and 27th. So if you're listening, please register so you can listen to Ray and hear his discussions on his panel. He always comes up with some amazing questions and some very thought-provoking ways of going forward. So let's all be together and make big change happen. Thank you, Ray, for being here.
Thank you, Jen.